please put your hands together for the Castlemaine Pipe Band. Hi, my name's Darren Fuzzard. I'm the CEO of Mount Alexander Shire Council, and it is my great pleasure to be your MC for today's ceremony that importantly acknowledges this day as both Australia Day and Survival Day. Thank you, and good morning to you all. Thanks for joining us. Looks like we've got a really beautiful day after a bit of a worrying night and a lot of rain, but I have to say, as a person who's got family living in the Adelaide Hills, I was very grateful for that rain. So I hope that a little bit of dampness underfoot or perhaps above you doesn't stop you from having a really enjoyable couple of hours with us here today. It is my very great honour now to ask Uncle Rick Nelson to please offer us a welcome to Dja Dja Wurrung country on this day, Australia Day, Survival Day, and to say a few words, and also Paulette.
Thank you very much, Darren. First of all, I'd just like to thank the Mount Alexander Shire for inviting us to participate in today's activities and for supporting us in the dawn service that we had this morning on Mount Alexander or Leanganook. My father started doing this around 10 years ago, so it's my role as his son. My father got sick and unfortunately passed away, so it's my role as his oldest son to step up into his shoes and continue this working relationship with Mount Alexander Shire. So I just wanted to mention a couple of little notes I've found over the weekend on Australia Day. Captain Cook didn't land on the 26th of January. He actually landed on the 29th of April, 1770. The first fleet arrived in Botany Bay on the 18th of January. 26th of January came around for when the Nationality and Citizenship Act of 1948 was passed. The day was called so Australians could be Australians and travel on an Australian passport as Australian citizens after the Nationality Act of 1920. Aboriginals and Torres Strait Islanders born after January 1st, 1921 were British subjects. So after the 26th of January 1949, the Aboriginal people and Torres Strait Islanders, like the rest of the Australian citizens, all became Australian citizens, not British subjects. And also, there was a fundraising effort for the war in 1915, which is also referred to as Australia Day celebrations. So that's why we celebrate Australia Day, because we weren't under the British rule anymore, we're under our own rule. I also just want to mention a couple of little brief things on why Aboriginal people might feel upset and be a little bit rebellious on this day. Governor Macquarie sent some orders to the 46th Regiment to pursue Aboriginal people and apprehend them as prisoners of war. Those people who attempted to escape were to be captured and shot and killed, and were to be hung from the trees in prominent positions to strike fear and terror into the surviving Aboriginal population. Instructions to Captain Shaw of the 46th Regiment. They are to be called on to surrender as prisoners of war. If they attempt to run away, you will fire upon them, and breaking spears and clubs and waddies of those you take prisoner. The bodies of slain warriors were to be decapitated, though in secret, and the heads sent to museums across Europe. Gatherings of 6 or more became illegal. Customs were outlawed, as was the carrying of spears. Non-Aboriginal civilians were granted permission to shoot and kill those Aborigines who did not adhere to various proclamations issued by the government. And this was a service, as Macquarie called it, and to be executed in secrecy and dispatch. So we don't like to dwell on the negativities and those types of things. I could go on about the blood hole over in Dalesford where the Aborigines were shot in the water hole by the pursuing settlers. I could go on about Sutton Grange being known as Waterloo Plains after the Battle of Waterloo because so many battles went on over in Sutton Grange. But we like to refer to this as Survival Day, to celebrate the survival. We've survived 240 years of colonisation. So, thanks very much. So we're just going to do a little welcome song. And the welcome ceremony, there's 5 or 6 parts for that, but we can't do all the parts, so we just do a little welcoming chant, and then we'll welcome the new Australian citizens as they become Australian citizens. And in some Aboriginal groups, the senior men or senior warriors would rub sweat on the visitors, so the bad spirits would smell the sweat of the warriors, and the bad spirits would take off. So we'll imitate doing that today to our new Australian citizens. So we'll do a little welcoming chant. Bamo, 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 yabane, yabane, yabane. Hi, 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 hi. Bamo, 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 yabane, yabane, yabane. Hi, 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 hi. Wukak, yak, murpuk. I, Wukak, yak, murpuk. I, Wadama. I. Yalla. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Uncle Rick and Paulette. Would you put your hands together again, please? And can I also, in response, acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we are meeting, the Jar Jar Wurrung people, and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. We do have a couple of housekeeping things that I really need to go through with you, so bear with me. Today's Australia Day event has been planned in line with the Victorian Government's COVID-safe public event framework and the latest public health directions, of course. We do have to follow those to be allowed to hold this event, and that's what we're doing. So we ask you to help us celebrate safely today by following a few of the simple rules, and many of them you will already know, but we need to go through them. First of all, if you didn't pre-book a ticket here for today's event, can you please check in using the QR code which was located at the entrance over there? Please, and if you have any trouble with doing that, please just ask one of our staff and they'll be more than happy to help you out with doing that. Please try to do this. I haven't got this mastered, I have to say, but please greet people with a smile or a wave. No hugging, no kissing, no shaking hands still. Maintaining physical distance of 1.5 metres between yourself and anyone you don't live with. Carrying a face mask, we all have to have one with us, unless you have a lawful reason for not doing so. We do strongly recommend that you wear one though whenever you can't stay more than 1.5 metres from those who you don't live with. Very familiar one, practicing good hygiene. Please wash your hands regularly, cough and sneeze into a tissue or your elbow, and please use the hand sanitizer that's everywhere around the place. The last one, and please don't be offended, we need to say this, if you do have any COVID symptoms, in the interest of keeping everybody safe, we really would be very grateful if you would please leave immediately and get tested, and of course isolate while you wait for those results. We hope that nobody has to do that, of course. So thank you for that. This year the theme for Australia Day Survival Day is Reflect, Respect, Celebrate. And we're all part of that story. Over the past year our nation has faced fire, flood, drought and the coronavirus pandemic, of course. And I think you can actually say we've had all of those in the last week as well. An incredible year. This year we want to reflect today on the selflessness and the courageous sacrifice of thousands of first responders and frontline workers who put the safety and well-being of others before their own. We also reflect on our nation's history, which began with the first Australians tens of thousands of years ago. We also reflect on the strength of our community and the spirit of helping, giving and supporting that defines us as Australians, and I certainly can say no more so than the people who live here in Mount Alexander Shire. We respect the stories, the histories and the contribution of all Australians. It is a day for us to celebrate and thank the first responders and frontline workers in so many organisations, businesses and community groups who just kept going to work day after day so that the rest of us could stay home and be safe. Today we celebrate what it means to be an Australian and our nation of diverse people and their achievements. This year the pandemic has made it difficult for everyone to physically be together, of course, so we are live streaming this event, thank you, for the first time so that those celebrating at home can be with us as we welcome our 4 new Australian citizens and we celebrate the recipients of our Australia Day Awards, both of those things coming up soon. This morning we also live streamed a dawn smoking ceremony that was performed by Uncle Rick Nelson and family. If you missed that, I'd really encourage you to have a look on Council's YouTube website after this ceremony and watch it. Rick, it looked very cold and wet up there this morning, but we really thank you for sharing that with us and allowing us to record that and share it with others. There's a very pertinent poem that Uncle Rick mentioned when he was doing that ceremony this morning, and I'm sure if you take the time to have a look on our YouTube channel and watch that ceremony, I'm sure you'll get something from that as well that gets you thinking a little bit more also. And speaking of which, once again, through Uncle Rick's generosity, we do have, I think you call it the yarn tree, but it's a spot over there in the back where Uncle Rick is next to the flag. If you'd like to have a chat with him at any time today to talk about what this day means from his perspective or others with him over there, then please do that. They would very much welcome the chance to have a chat with you about Australia Day Survival Day a bit further. So a few introductions. We have with us Councillor Tony Cordy, who is our Mayor of Mount Alexander Shire Council. He'll be presiding over the citizenship ceremonies. And I'd also like to acknowledge our other distinguished guests, State Member for Bendigo West, friend and great partner of Mount Alexander Shire Council, Marie Edwards, our Deputy Mayor, Bill Maltby, Councillor Rosie Annear, Councillor Gary McClure and Councillor Matthew Driscoll, and of course Uncle Rick Nelson and family. Thank you. Unfortunately, Federal Member for Bendigo, Lisa Chester's, Councillor Christine Henderson and Councillor Stephen Gardner can't be with us today, and they have all sent their apologies. We do want today's event in our Shire to be one that we can all find some joy in, but we cannot and we must not pretend that for many Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders, this day holds a far more painful opportunity for reflection. On behalf of us all here today, can I just again say how grateful we are, Uncle Rick and family, for your enormous generosity in being involved in today and for helping us all to better understand our past so that we can build a better future together. Thank you. So part of that better future together begins today for 4 residents of Mount Alexander Shire who will take the final step in what is a really long process to become Australian citizens. And following that, we'll be announcing the winners of our Citizens Awards and once again celebrate some examples of the amazing contributions that people in our community make for each other and to each other every day. So with that, can I now invite our Mayor, Councillor Tony Cordy, to say a few words and then to preside over the citizenship ceremony. Mayor Cordy.
Thanks, Darren, and thanks for everyone turning out today. We really appreciate that. Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge that we're meeting on Jara country, of which the members and elders of the Jara community and their forebears have been custodians for many centuries and have performed age-old ceremonies of celebration, initiation and renewal. We acknowledge their living culture and their unique role in the life of this region. I would also again thank Uncle Rick for the dawn smoking ceremony and the welcome to country. I think I'd also mention a special thank you to our Highland Band for a rousing rendition. It was fantastic to see them all turn out, and like all good musicians, you have trouble getting them off the stage when once they get started, but they did a fantastic job, so well done. Before beginning the citizenship ceremony, I'd like us to take a moment to acknowledge how lucky we are to live in a country with such rich cultural diversity. Our nation is built from the hard work, creativity and have-a-go attitude of many different cultures, from the first Australians tens of thousands of years to the immigrants who flocked to the country and the goldfields, through to our soon-to-be new citizens who are with us today. The contributions over the years of people from many different places to the Mount Alexander Shire has enriched the region for the better, creating an inclusive society with a welcome mat laid out ready to receive all. Today is an important day to celebrate our diverse people and their achievements. It is also important to reflect on the value of respect in our community and for each of us to continue to strive to treat one another fairly and kindly, recognising how much a community can achieve when it is united rather than divided. Today we also celebrate the spirit of helping, giving and volunteering that so clearly defines our community. The everyday heroes who walk amongst us, friends, neighbours, family members, the volunteers, charity workers, supporters and givers who each and every day change the lives of others through their actions. Those acts of kindness and courage that we see in small and big ways in our community speak to what it means to be Australian and makes me proud to be part of this community and call myself Australian. It is now my privilege to preside over today's citizenship ceremony. The Minister for Immigration, Citizen, Migrant Services and Multicultural Affairs, the Honourable Alex Hawke MP, is unable to be here, but he has asked me that I pass on his congratulations and best wishes, and that I read the following message to you. Today you become an Australian citizen. We are immensely proud of what we have achieved as a nation, and we welcome you in joining us. Our history and culture has been forged over thousands of years, first through Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people and more recently with people from all corners of the earth. Australia has succeeded as a nation by embracing and defending our national values. We believe in the freedom and dignity of each individual, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, and freedom of association. We value the rule of law, democracy, and equality of opportunity for all people. We stand with other democracies in helping to defend and protect these hard-fought freedoms. We're a resilient nation. Drought, bushfires, floods, and a global pandemic have changed our normal way of life. Our social cohesion, a key strength of Australia, has never been more important. Upon taking the pledge of commitment today, I call on you to embrace these values and the rights and responsibilities of Australian citizenship and play an active part in your local communities to build an even stronger nation. On behalf of the Australian Government, I congratulate you on reaching this special day. Alex Hawke. In order to apply to become an Australian citizen, a person must prove they have lived in Australia for at least 4 years, including 1 year as a permanent resident. An applicant also needs to demonstrate a strong commitment to Australian values and culture, as well as a good knowledge of Australian history, democratic beliefs, the workings of government, and how laws are made. All applicants must sit a citizenship test on these topics and score a minimum of 75%. 4 people here today have successfully completed this process. They have one last step to take in becoming an Australian citizen, and that is to make the pledge to Australia and its people. In so doing, they are making a public commitment to Australia and accepting the responsibilities and privileges of citizenship. As Mayor, I am authorised as a person who may receive these pledges on behalf of the Commonwealth of Australia. I would like to congratulate each of you on your decision and commitment to become an Australian citizen. We now turn to the formal part of the ceremony, which is conducted in accordance with the Australian Citizenship Act 2007. As part of the legal requirements for today's citizenship ceremony, I'll read the preamble from Schedule 1 of the Australian Citizenship Regulation 2016. Australian citizenship represents full and formal membership of the community of the Commonwealth of Australia, and Australian citizenship is a common bond involving reciprocal rights and obligations, uniting all Australians while respecting their diversity. Persons on whom Australian citizenship is conferred enjoy these rights and undertake to accept these obligations. A, by pledging loyalty to Australia and its people. B, by sharing their democratic beliefs. C, by respecting their rights and liberties. And D, by upholding and obeying the laws of Australia. I would now like to ask the conferees who are making Pledge 1, which is the pledge containing the words "under God," to come up to the stage. If you wish to make a pledge on the Holy Book, please hold it in your hand now. Gordon Walter. Thanks for coming along today, Gordon. Please repeat this pledge line by line after me. From this time forward, under God,
From this time forward, under God,
I pledge my loyalty to Australia and its people,
I pledge my loyalty to Australia and its people,
whose democratic beliefs I share,
whose democratic beliefs I share,
whose rights and liberties I respect,
whose rights and liberties I respect,
and whose laws I will uphold and obey.
whose laws I will uphold and obey.
Thank you. I'll now call you forward to accept your citizenship certificate.
Right now? You right now?
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. As you leave, Gordon. I would now like to ask the conferees who are making Pledge 2 to come to the stage. If you wish to take the pledge as an affirmation, please repeat Pledge 2 on the card. And we have Piera La Rocca Walk, Stefano Prosdoc Emir, and Paul Williams. We'll do this together. Okay, if you can repeat after me, please. From this time forward, I pledge my loyalty to Australia and its people,
I pledge my loyalty to Australia and its people,
whose democratic beliefs I share,
whose democratic beliefs I share,
whose rights and liberties I respect,
whose rights and liberties I respect,
and whose laws I will uphold and obey.
and whose laws I uphold and obey.
Okay, so we'll present the certificates, please. Oh, thanks very much, Marie. So,
Congratulations, Paul. Well done.
thank you very much. Just in concluding, I welcome you as citizens of Australia. Choosing to become a citizen is a very significant expression of your pride in being part of Australia's dynamic and diverse society. I congratulate you all on the commitment you have made and invite everyone here to give our newest citizens a warm welcome as full members of the Australian community.
Thank you, Mayor. Please be upstanding and join in the singing of the national anthem. Thanks everybody. Just remember you've got 365 days before you have to learn the second verse again. And thank you to our new citizens. Please, if you're keen, we'd love to get some photos with you later on after the ceremonies are finished. So if you could please come back up to the stage, we'll get some photos with you with the Mayor, and I'm sure councillors and Marie might be very keen to be involved as well. Can we put our hands together again for our new citizens? It is now my great pleasure to ask Marie Edwards to the stage to say a few words, or as many as you like, Marie.
Thank you, Darren. Good morning, everyone, and it's a pleasure to join you once again for our Australia Day, Survival Day celebrations here in beautiful Victory Park here in Castlemaine. Can I thank the Mount Alexander Shire for once again extending their invitation to me to attend. I'd also like to acknowledge the Wurrung people, who are the traditional owners of the land on which we are gathered today. I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, and to any elders from other communities who may be here today. Can I make a special thank you to Uncle Rick and Paulette for their welcome to country this morning, and for Uncle Rick for your truth-telling. To our Mayor and councillors, to our CEO, Darren Fuzzard, to our newest citizens, and to our award nominees who are here today, to our special guests, and to you, our community members. A warm congratulations to those who have been nominated for community awards today, as well as to those who have become Australian citizens today. It's such an honour. Firstly, I would like to acknowledge how difficult this past year has been for all of us, and I send my deepest sympathies to the families and friends of those who have lost their lives to COVID-19. And as Darren mentioned, this year's Australia Day, Survival Day theme is reflect, respect and celebrate. And we are all part of our story. Over the past 12 months we have had many hardships, COVID being just one of them, and of course the horrid fires of this time last year. But we've not just survived, we have supported each other and reached out in optimism and courage. Firstly, I'd like to pay particular recognition to our traditional owners, the Wurrung. As Victoria moves closer towards treaty with our state's First People, with the advancing treaty process with Aboriginal Victorians Bill passing the Parliament, it is important that the Wurrung have ongoing support and opportunities to celebrate, enshrine and sustain their culture. The treaty has progressed to the consultation phase 2 last year. Self-determination is at the core of the treaty process. A treaty will have benefits for all Victorians, promoting reconciliation and fostering shared pride in Aboriginal culture. It is an opportunity to recognise and celebrate the unique status, rights, culture and history of our First People, and as the oldest continuous living culture in the world. Also, we have named the Aboriginal representative body as the First Peoples Assembly of Victoria, the Assembly. The Assembly is to act as an independent and democratic voice for Aboriginal Victorians. It is made up of 32 traditional owners of Victoria to ensure it represents the diversity of the people of this state. Each of the formally recognised traditional owner groups are allocated 1 seat each, with the remaining 21 being general seats split across 6 regions. Friends, this is all about healing the wounds of the past and acknowledging that this land was never ceded by our First Peoples. We are fortunate here in Victoria, and more so here in Mount Alexander, to have so many leading not-for-profit community-based organisations and wonderful community members. And this was very evident in 2020. Organisations that connected people to people by assisting the lonely, the aged, the frightened, and those in need to improve their health and well-being during COVID-19. There are far too many community groups and volunteers to mention, but each of you who reached out with acts of kindness, support and care I say a special thank you. This is what is so important to the fabric of our community. I want to also acknowledge our essential workers who have supported us throughout the pandemic, our teachers, aged care workers, disability care workers, nurses, doctors, health workers across the sector, our emergency services, our supermarket and retail workers, and those who with courage continue to work through this challenging time. We are not out of the woods yet. The pandemic rages across multiple countries around the world. So many have lost their lives and families and economies have been devastated. Here in this town, in this community, in this shire, there is much to be thankful for and much we have learned over the course of the pandemic. One thing that stands out for me is the solidarity and support that has been so evident. In Victoria, we are committed to acknowledging and supporting the tremendous work our communities and our volunteers do, and how this contributes to both individual and community well-being and cohesiveness. By doing so, we build vibrant, resourceful communities. This Australia Day, this Survival Day, we can reflect on our history, its highs and its lows. In Mount Alexander Shire, our social cohesion is our strength. We respect the stories and histories of all. And as we need to do every day, we reflect, respect, and celebrate our nation and most of all its people. Thank you, enjoy your day, and please be safe and take care. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Marie, and can I just add one more contribution for us all to reflect on and be grateful for, and that's from you, Marie, for all that you do in this community as well as all that you do with us as partners serving this community. So thank you. It is now time to present the 2021 Australia Day Awards for Mount Alexander Shire. Excuse me. Each year on Australia Day, our country recognises and honours the outstanding achievements of its citizens. By presenting these awards, we celebrate the contribution that inspiring Australians have made to their communities. We also take the time to reflect on how we can all follow their example and each contribute to creating a better society. Nominees are assessed by an independent panel, and the award recipients are selected based on their impact in the Mount Alexander Shire. Today we're presenting awards across 4 categories. We have Young Citizen of the Year, Senior Citizen of the Year, Community Event of the Year, and Overall Citizen of the Year. So first up, it's my great pleasure to invite Councillor Rosalie Anea to the microphone to announce the recipient of the 2021 award for Young Citizen of the Year.
Thank you, Darren. It gives me great pleasure to announce that Mount Alexander Shire's 2021 Young Citizen of the Year is Jade Bujaya. Jade has been an active volunteer and youth leader in our community for the past 5 years. She has coordinated various youth events and activities through her role on the Council's Youth Advisory Group. In 2018, Jade founded the Youth Makers Market and maintains the lead role in the coordination of the event, as well as being a stallholder herself. In 2015, Jade was a member of Castlemaine Secondary College's Youth Parliament team. The team successfully debated and passed a bill for an opt-out organ donation system in Victoria. Jade has completed a Bachelor of Science at La Trobe University and is currently studying an advanced graduate diploma in science, majoring in applied mathematics at Melbourne University. In 2019, she was accepted onto the New Colombo Plan Scholarship program, which is an initiative of the Australian Government, aiming to lift knowledge of the Indo-Pacific in Australia by supporting Australian undergraduates to study and undertake internships in the region. As part of the program, Jade spent 6 months studying in Korea. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause to our Young Citizen of the Year, Jade Bujaya.
Congratulations again, Jade. Next up, we have the award for Senior Citizen of the Year, which will be presented by Deputy Mayor Councillor Bill Maltby.
Thanks, Darren. I'll just find the right page. The 2021 Mount Alexander Senior Citizen of the Year is Lorraine Lee Plasterer. True. Lorraine has been a long-standing, strong advocate for people in the Mount Alexander Shire who live with disabilities. Lorraine was pivotal in establishing the Mount Alexander Shire Disability Advocacy Group. Under Lorraine's leadership, the Mount Alexander Shire Disability Advocacy Group have delivered multiple contributions to the community. Lorraine was instrumental in supporting the development of the Positive Ageing Advocacy Group, advocating for change on things that matter to older people in the community. In 2019, Lorraine joined the Healthy Heart of Victoria Control Group, contributing by providing insight through a disability and access lens. Last year, Lorraine continued her work throughout the pandemic by contributing to the Emergency Responses Working Group. Through this, she supported the implementation of community projects, including the distribution of face masks. Lorraine's love of people and compassion builds bridges, and this often helps those who feel isolated. Lorraine uses her leadership and advocacy skills as well as her ability to connect and include people to work for social change and justice. Just as an aside, some 30 odd years ago I had the pleasure of assisting Lorraine find a residence in town, and she actually now calls Castlemaine her hometown. Sorry.
Thank you everyone for coming and supporting us, and thank you Bill for those words. It is a place that I love, and I do recognise that it's Djadja Wurrung country, and I also want to acknowledge that Djadja Wurrung people have long valued their elders, their uncles and their aunts, and I think that's a fabulous aim for me to go for. Okay, so thank you everyone. Make more tyre tracks going down.
Thank you again, Lorraine, and not just for the work that you do in the community, but for the work that Lorraine's done for a very long time inside our organisation with us to help us do a better job for the community as well. We really do appreciate that, Lorraine. Can I now invite Councillor Matthew Driscoll to join us in announcing the recipient of the 2021 award for Community Event of the Year.
Thank you, Darren. Mount Alexander Shire's 2021 Community Event of the Year is the Castlemaine Rotary Truck Show. The Castlemaine Rotary Truck Show would normally bring 200 trucks and raise tens of thousands of dollars that are distributed throughout the year to local charities, youth scholarships and community applications for assistance. The pandemic last year saw this event move online, which allowed them to reach a broader audience of over 40,000 people. In October, the committee launched a photo competition, At Work with Trucks, with entries coming from across all of Australia. A local artist was then hired to design a calendar featuring some of the photos that provided marketing material for future events. That calendar can be purchased over there for when you pick up your free snag. I'll just say that again, free snag over there. The committee also organised an online panel of speakers that was broadcast live on Facebook. Through the new skills acquired through their online event, the Castlemaine Rotary Truck Show worked with Castlemaine Pioneers and Old Residents Association to assist them in presenting their history of transport in Mount Alexander Shire exhibition on Facebook, which was live to an audience of 500 live viewers. In November, the Castlemaine Rotary Truck Show held a series of online events and presentations to bring the community together in lieu of the truck show event. However, with the easing of restrictions, the committee was able to enact a COVID-safe plan and hold a smaller version of the live truck show. It was also streamed to Facebook and garnered an audience of over 11,000 people. The changing conditions of last year allowed the truck show to broaden their audience and provide an opportunity to engage with a larger group of people through media interviews, which they hope will benefit future initiatives in the truck show in 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, please show your appreciation to the Mount Alexander Shire Community Event of the Year, the Castlemaine Rotary Truck Show.
Thank you very much, Matt, who is a Rotarian. My name is Christine Barkler and I'm the President of the Rotary Club of Castlemaine. Firstly, I'd like to thank Mount Alexander Shire for this great recognition. It's wonderful. And also, I was going to call Kerry up, a Rotarian who's actually filming at the moment for Facebook Live. There was no one better placed than Kerry to reimagine and pivot and change our truck show to the online event. For Kerry, this was her first year as truck show director, and let me tell you, it was a baptism of fire. It's a bit scary, the speech. Everyone's been very pithy. But look, the truck show is wonderful for Rotary, and I'd encourage you all to look at the Rotary Castlemaine Facebook page and consider joining it or approaching us as a service organisation, because we do great work. The truck show is usually our major fundraiser for the year. We have made in the vicinity of $40,000 usually, which goes into supporting local youth and local community projects. We're very happy that so much of that money stays locally. This year we probably made closer to 10,000 rather than 40,000, but it was such an important event because we called it actually, instead of the truck show, it was People at Work with Trucks truck show. So it was supporting and acknowledging the work of our truckies Australia-wide, who really kept this country moving and rolling along. And that's why it was so wonderful to just have our little convoy here in town. There are only 40 trucks instead of our usual 100, but I drove through in front of the convoy, and to see the magic on those kids' faces as they sat out the front, I think it was our best local crowd that we've ever had. You can see we've got calendars for sale over there for $5, which is a much reduced price, and have a look at the work in it. It's just wonderful, and to see the work that those truckies put in. Now, if you're a local and haven't been out to our truck show, it's usually the last weekend in November out at Campbell's Creek, please consider coming along, because it really is a wonderful local community event with lots for the whole family. It'll be on the 27th and 28th of November this year, God willing, and really we'd encourage you to come along and support us, support Rotary. So Mount Alexander Shire and Rotarians who all pitched in, thank you once again.
And thanks everyone who was involved in making that happen. There will be an opportunity later on for some photos as well for the receivers of these awards. So Kerry, I'm sure we can get a photo with you later on. Finally, the award for our 2021 Citizen of the Year will be presented by our Mayor, Councillor Tony Cordy. Mayor.
Thanks for that, Darren. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to announce that Mount Alexander Shire's 2021 Citizen of the Year is Ian Gallagher. I'll just wait for Ian to come up. I've got a few things to say about him. Ian Gallagher is a quiet achiever who is considerate, respectful and always ready to lend a hand. He's been a volunteer corrections officer for 15 years, where he has earned the trust, respect and cooperation of offenders under his charge. Ian has also been an active member and full-time volunteer of the Lions Club in Castlemaine for 15 years. Through this, he chops and distributes firewood for locals. Ian is the driving force and key contributor for all Lions Club events, as well as maintaining, transporting and operating the Lions food catering van. Ian contributes to raising funds for the local community, including the Lions MacDonald Hill Massage Respite House and Castlemaine Hospital, among other community organisations, I imagine, providers. He's also served on the committee of the Castlemaine District Old Boys School Association for 12 years, as well as being the president in 2018-2019. The association raises money to donate books and educational material to schools in the Castlemaine area. I could certainly attest to the Castlemaine Old Boys, because I'm one and I've been going to get along to their annual event for some time, so hopefully I'll get there this year, Ian. Ladies and gentlemen, please show your appreciation to our Citizen of the Year for 2021, Ian Gallagher.
Thank you everyone, and thank you to the Shire. This is an honour, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ian, for a very well-deserved award. We really are very grateful for all the work that you do over and have done for many, many years in our community. You put your hands together one more time for all of our award winners. We can, of course, only have one winner per category, but we would also like to acknowledge all of our 2021 nominees for their very generous contributions to the Shire. They are Brian Bainbridge, Jill and Dave Maskell, Jim Moran and Jan Warwick. Put your hands together for them, please. A few thank yous. Thank you to Councillors Anir, McClure, Driscoll, Deputy Mayor Maltby and Mayor Cordy for their contributions today. Thank you again, Marie, for choosing to be a part of our celebration as well. Also, thank all of the people who took the time to nominate somebody or an event within our community, and acknowledge all of the remarkable nominations that we received this year. Before we finish up today, can I also just thank a few more people who made today possible. Starting again with Uncle Rick Nelson and family, along with members of the Indigenous Roundtable who have helped us plan this day. We thank you very much for that. The Castlemaine Rotary Club for providing a barbecue. Rumour has it it's free. I was asked to say that many times. And I think we're learning with how we lay this out. Usually by about halfway through, the Rotary Club started cooking the snags and we've lost the audience completely because the smell blows across the crowd and it's a tough gig. But we seem to have got it in the right place this year. Sky Dancers for the stage and the gift plants. The Castlemaine Highland Pipe Band, of course, for providing our entertainment this morning. A thank you to the Australian Government through the National Australia Day Council, who provided grants for branding and to help us to make this a COVID-safe event for you all. And finally, far from least, the many, many council staff who across our whole organisation have put so much work into making this happen for you. I would love to stop and say all of their names, but I won't. But just an incredible effort. They do this on top of their normal jobs. They don't have to do it like so many of you who do things in your community just because you want to. So too with them. And I really deeply appreciate the work that you've all done to make this possible today for our community. So thank you too. And of course, thanks to all of you and our wider community of Mount Alexander Shire, who make this such a great place to live. And thank you for coming out today to share what we hope was a helpful as well as enjoyable couple of hours with us. That concludes the official part of the ceremonies. So thank you all for coming along and joining us, and just ask you again to put your hands together for all of those 4 new citizens and the award winners today. Please have a wonderful day, and don't forget to have a free sausage. Thank you all.
Thanks to Darren for doing a great job as MC today, and also thanks to Marie for giving up her time. Thanks for coming along.